Hello, farmers, and welcome to another episode of the harvest season. My name is Al,
My name is Aislinn.
And I'm Micah.
and we're here today to talk about cottage score games.
Woo!
Woo!
Yippee. Ooh, wait. Sorry, I meant Yippee.
Well, I don't know. We've not talked about the games yet. We'll see.
Yeah, true.
Because this is our Game of the Year episode. A woo! It is. This one comes out
Woo!
very satisfyingly on the 31st of December, the last day of the year. Very enjoyable. So obviously we will have no news because we are recording this, 3 weeks early? Yeah, 3 weeks early. Because
Yeah.
nobody wants to record a podcast on Christmas. Uh, so no news. We're just going to talk about the games of the year, except because obviously we've got Micah on. We don't often have Micah on, and Aislinn's been a few weeks. We're going to talk about what we've been up to as well. So, Micah, what have you been up to?
A little. I can't do the indie game bit again. I already did it once.
Yeah, I know, but no, people would have heard it yet. It's not.
A
It comes out
little
later.
indie game called Pokemon Legends ZA primarily is what I've been up to. I very stupidly did a challenge run for my first playthrough of it, and I'm still doing it. So, we'll see if I get to play the DLC when it comes out.
Yes, we're recording this 4 days before the DLC comes out. So just to put that in context, obviously,
Stop saying the time. It's stressing me out, Al.
I'm just giving people context for why we're talking about it as if we haven't played it, because we haven't played it. We played the game, but not the DLC.
I'm fine with the context, to be fair. So as far as I know, it's only Micah that's opposed. It's not me. Just putting it out there.
You're trying to curry
It's
favor
crazy
here.
that you guys would do this to me.
We're talking for the first time. I'm against him. I'm opposed to him.
Have you played anything else since we've last talked, Micah? Because it's been a while.
Yeah, I have actually played quite a bit. I've been playing a lot of Yakuza 0.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Is that the
Uh,
new one?
It is not. It was the first one that they released on the Switch 2 was the Yakuza 0 director's cut. It
Oh,
is
this is a remake, isn't
chronologically the
it?
first one. It's not. It's a port. It's just a port of
Oh.
Yakuza 0. So the Yakuza franchise has gone like they did Yakuza 1 and then 2 and then 3 and then 4 and then 5 and then I think 6 and then 0.
Oh my
So
word.
0 is like the backstory for the main character Kiryu and another main character Majima Goro, and they're kind of like them coming up as young Yakuza and their like trials and tribulations and stuff. Very interesting, very well written. Uh, if you know anything about the Yakuza franchise, sometimes at least in the like side quest portion of it, a little raunchy. So, um, be buyer beware, I guess. Uh, but it is so they are some of the most intricately made open world games in my opinion. There's so much to do in them. There's a whole in Yakuza 0, it takes place in the 80s in Japan, and there's a whole side bit where you can just like build pocket race cars and race them on like tracks against kids and stuff, and it's awesome.
I keep thinking about playing one of these. I think the thing that made me go, "Ooh, interesting," was Infinite Wealth, where they had that like random Pokemon game in
Mm-hmm.
it, and I'm like,
Yep.
"Oh, interesting."
Not just Pokemon game, but they have an entire Animal Crossing
Oh goodness.
style game that
Oh yeah,
I've
that was the
heard.
one.
I haven't played it,
That was
but
the island one, wasn't it? The
yes,
random island you go to,
yes, because Infinite Wealth takes place in Hawaii. It's the first time that it doesn't take place in a Japanese territory,
which
and
is ironically not the game that has Hawaii in the title. That's the
right,
next
correct.
one.
That one is a pirate game that's a spin-off.
Obviously.
It's an insane experience playing a Yakuza game because it's like the core story is very serious and very dramatic, and it's about the Japanese mob and the all the like horrors that come along with it, but like and it's very gritty, but everything else in the game is insane. It's just like goofy, it's wild, there's tons of stuff to do. It's very funny and like doesn't take itself super seriously, which I love. Unless you're in the like core of the story, then for the most part it takes itself pretty seriously. Until you get to 7, which is like a dragon, and the main character is very goofy, but also in a really charming way. Um, I I highly recommend them. Their attention to detail for like the areas too, the cities that they take place in, which are actual real world Japanese cities, but they're just the names are slightly changed, or like, the not the exact businesses, but they still have a lot of like licensing rights for things. Like if you know Don Quixote, the like big Japanese uh department store chain that just fully exists in the game. Like they have the rights to
Wow.
to put those in the game for whatever reason. There's lots of stuff. And it's Sega, so they always have, Sega arcades that you can go into and just play old Sega games and like the arcade. Uh just there's lots of stuff to it. It's a lot of fun. And I've been playing through
I'm
Zero because they just released the 1 and 2 remakes on the Switch 2, and they're releasing the remake of 3 in like February, and it's got
Oh
new
my
story
word.
content.
They are
So
zooming through them.
they are. I mean, they've all existed for quite a while now. I think they're just trying to get as much of the library onto the Switch 2 as
Yeah,
they
but that
can.
but the thing is that porting still takes a lot of work, right? It's
Oh,
not
for
you
sure,
don't you
for
don't just
sure.
click the big port button,
Right,
right?
right,
Like
right, right.
this is the thing. Like people talk about porting as if it's like, oh, just port it to a new console, but you're like, it's not that simple though, right?
Right.
Like
Totally.
especially if you're talking about, the first game came out on PS2, PS3, and Wii U, and
Hmm.
I mean, first of all, those three consoles had very different uh architectures in and of the first place, and then you're talking about moving it onto the Switch 2, which is an ARM based processor that sure existed back then, but like no games were using it. So it's
Right.
like it's a massive difference there.
The studio that makes these games is extremely dedicated and very talented, and it's very worth your time if it's something that you might be interested in. So,
I'm just worried that I start to like them, and then that is like several hundred hours
oh, totally.
gone.
Yep.
I'm in that
There
same
is a
camp.
whole there's a whole side like mechanic in Yakuza 0 where you, as part of the story, you become a real estate agent, and there's a whole side portion of the game where you can just run like real estate and make a bunch of money that way. And I've put probably like 30 to 40 hours of it has
That's a
been just
whole
doing the
game.
like.
That's
I
a
know, I
whole
know.
game you're
And that's
talking
the
about
thing
there.
with Infinite Wealth, is that the Pokemon game and the Animal Crossing game, I have heard, because I haven't played it yet myself, I haven't gotten that far, that they are like full 40 plus hour games that they could just be games themselves, that they
Oh.
just included for no reason other than just to put them in the game.
Oh my God.
Like, do I have the time in my life to play a Yakuza game? That's my real worry. Do I
That's
have?
that's a valid
I
question.
don't. I legitimately don't know the answer to that question.
So I'm playing that.
Fair enough.
That's a lot of what I've been playing.
All right, Aislinn, what have you been up to?
I have been up to a number of variety of things. I think since I was last on, I don't think I talked about Vampire Survivors. I don't remember. So I finally, for the first time, picked that game up,
I
and
think
that
you
was
talked about it
fun.
as you were going to be playing it, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. So then, post Vampire Survivors update, I like the game a lot.
Interesting. Because
Um,
I remember we talked about it, and I was like, we talked about how it looks, and I had been surprised when I eventually looked at a screenshot of what the game looks like, and you were like, yeah, me too, because it
yeah,
looks
it's
bad.
not aesthetically, it's not my favorite.
That is a very diplomat. That is the description of someone who hates the look of the game but now likes playing the game.
That's how I feel. Honestly, that's how I feel. It's been fun to pick up the game here and there. So aesthetically, debatable, but it's a time. Uh, um, but aesthetically, I did enjoy and finish and played in one session a game called Assemble with Care, and that was very nice. Um, I
Oh,
was
is that the game where like you are putting like electronics together and stuff at like a
Yeah,
desk?
yeah, you're kind of traveling around, I guess you could say, in
Oh,
one
okay.
sense or another,
Okay.
but you are like, yes, you're disassembling, fixing things, and then putting things together, and then it progresses
That
a story.
looks
Oh,
so fun.
it's us too. They're the ones who make Monument Valley, and they also made Alba. Same
Oh,
people.
well, making a
Yeah.
great game with this one. It was like I think I played it in like maybe no more than 2 hours, so it was a very bite-sized game, but it was satisfying to play.
That sounds like an us two game.
Fair enough.
I don't know what to say. It's currently on sale, minus 75% on Steam, so I can get it
Ooh.
for £1.44. It's
I
basically
think it's
free.
worth it. That's
Steam
super
Deck
worth it.
verified, or what are we
Let's have a
talking
look. We are Steam Deck verified.
Demo available?
Ooh.
No demo,
Ah, that's okay.
but it's one.
It's-
You can't win them all.
It's less than £2.
That's yeah, true.
Buy the
true.
game.
I think it's worth the purchase. I would say it's a very bite-sized game. But otherwise, I started playing Snacko 2 weeks ago
Mm.
and really, really enjoying that. Still working through Persona 3 Reload. That's nothing new. That's going to be for the rest of my life, I guess.
Oh, what a good game.
And
Is this your first time playing Persona 3?
I've never played a Persona game, period.
Oh, and I'm
So,
assuming when you say it's probably gonna be the rest of my life, you're enjoying it then.
oh yeah, for sure. I'm very much
I'm
so
so
taking my
happy to hear
time with
that.
it. So it's just a very long game. So I think
It
after
is,
I finish this
yeah.
game, I'm gonna take a step away from a Persona game, play a couple
hmm
other like maybe like shorter games, and then dive into either I guess Persona 4 when the remake comes out,
hmm
or jump over to Persona 5 is what I'm thinking. But I also kind of want to check out Metaphor. So I'm a little torn, but I'm not in any particular rush to play any of them after I finish Persona 3. So
Yeah,
I'll assess that when the time comes.
Persona is the
Um,
other game series that I'm like, I feel like I would probably enjoy it, but also like I don't want my entire life
Do
to be
you have time
consumed by
for
it.
it? Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a time sink. I don't
hmm
know if it necessarily has to be a time sink, but the way that I've been playing it, I make it a time sink and I enjoy it. So,
I imagine that we are very much the same in how we play them, especially previous discussions about having stuff up while you're playing to be able to, get the full experience or whatever. Like
I
I love nothing
yeah.
more than like sitting down with a Persona game and trying to min-max the days, because there's like only so much you can do during a day, and if you miss
Yeah.
something, then you miss it. And
I actually
yes.
haven't been playing Persona with a guide, funny enough. I've
Okay,
actually
that's
just
good.
been min-maxing it on my own and it's been fun. I've been enjoying it.
I love it.
But then otherwise,
As if
obviously
that's not
Pokemon
enough
Legends
games.
EA. That's no wait, say that again.
As if that's not enough games.
I know I'm like cycling through so many different games right now, and I'm like, um, but obviously Legends EA, we don't need to rehash that. And then I did purchase finally for the first time, I own New Leaf, Happy Home Paradise, and Detective Pikachu. So at some point I'll
Oh
be
my
picking those
God.
up.
Is that the original
All
Detective Pikachu?
masterpieces. That's
Sorry,
it.
say
That
that
is a
again,
valid
Al?
question.
What was the question?
Is
Sorry.
that the original Detective Pikachu or the one for Switch?
Oh, the original.
Okay, cool. Just checking. Just checking.
I feel
I
like
have.
I can't play the new one without playing the original.
It's
I don't know.
yeah,
I
it's
mean,
true.
if you watched the film, like that's the story. Except it's most of the story, but then also some of not the story.
Oh, true. Yeah, I forgot that was a
Sorry.
thing. But regardless, you know what? It's
I
fine.
overcomplicated my own point there. I just completely, in the same sentence, proved myself wrong.
But otherwise, that's it. Just cycling through a lot of different games.
I am so excited that you have you never played New Leaf? Or
No,
oh,
unfortunately, my first Animal Crossing game was New Horizons.
well, you don't have to say unfortunately, but
Well, that seems to be the consensus. I really love it, but that seems
yeah,
to be the
it's
general
really great.
Animal Crossing community consensus. So I'm like, I guess
No,
I'm supposed to say unfortunately, but I guess that could
enjoy what
tie
you
me,
enjoy.
do
you know?
not feel the pressure, right? Like I did not like New Leaf, so
Oh,
that's all.
New Leaf or New Horizons
No, I like New
or both?
Horizons. I didn't like New
Oh,
Leaf.
okay.
Well,
I
okay.
thought you
okay.
didn't
Oh,
like New
okay. Oh, right.
Horizons.
Okay. Right. My- I definitely didn't like New Leaf. I didn't get into it. Like, I spent a few hours and really hated everything about it.
Huh.
New Horizons, I put in like 100 hours, and did I enjoy that game is a complicated answer. But it's more complicated than New Leaf. I definitely didn't like New Leaf. I maybe didn't like New Horizons, but it's harder to say you don't like a game when you spent 100 hours playing it and covering it in like probably at like what 30 hours talking about it on podcasts. So it's and like I'm going to be buying the Switch 2 version when it comes out next year.
Mhm,
So like
mhm.
I don't know what is like how does one define whether one likes a game?
I have a great video for you, Al, for later. It's called I Played Animal Crossing Every Day for 5 years. I think you would enjoy that video. I'm just gonna drop it in our group chat and leave it at that.
Oh no. Oh goodness, how long is this this video? It's only 20 minutes. Oh, that's
Yeah,
easy.
it's a quick video.
Easy. Goodness.
I'm just gonna leave it there.
No, I think that New Horizons is a great game on its own. I think that New Leaf is also a great game on its own. I think
Okay.
that if you go into New Leaf expecting what you got out of New Horizons, you will probably be disappointed. But I think if you go into it understanding that it's a completely different game in a lot of ways, then you will be able to enjoy it for what it is.
That's definitely
New
how I'm
Leaf
approaching
is,
it.
yeah.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say that New Leaf, I have immense memories tied to New Leaf. I love that game, but I also, due to the circumstances of the time, really enjoyed New Horizons because of the context of the time that it came out and everything. So I think
Yeah.
it depends on, there's different ways that you can enjoy each of them, and I think that, they're both great games. So don't let anybody make you feel like you shouldn't, like you like the wrong Animal Crossing game. That's
Yeah, ignore
it's an
Kevin.
unfair way to.
Ignore Kevin. He
That
can like what he likes, but you can like what you like.
this point feels very reminiscent about a conversation we may or may not have just had.
This is the best thing about recording episodes out of order, right?
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Speaking of recording episodes out of order, I have also been playing Snacko, and
Woo!
listeners will know that's because we will have had done an episode on Snacko. We, I think we're recording it in 6 days. Is it on Friday?
Something like that. So
Yeah.
the math is somewhere. I have it marked down somewhere.
It will have been out for a couple of weeks by the time this episode comes out, but time is an illusion. So I've not put in a huge amount of time, maybe about 10 hours into that so far, but I mean, listeners will know by now what my opinion is. So I think it's probably safe to say it's a great game. Love it.
You put in more time than I have. That's crazy.
Yeah, but like that's not a lot of time for me for a week. Like
That's fair.
I did for my Tears of the Kingdom run through, I did 150 hours, and it was 3 weeks. I only played that game for 3 weeks.
Oh.
And I put in 150 hours. Like if I get really, really into a game, it becomes a problem.
Oh, for sure.
Fair.
Same. I mean, my Legends ZA playtime hit 180 hours, and I took like 3 weeks off after it came out because I hyperfixated and burned myself out.
And that's how you know. And that's how you know you were shiny hunting, because I finished the game after 80 hours, and there's nothing left to do in the game except that stupid battle, the 1,000 battles, and any shiny hunting.
No, there's so much more. You got to get all the clothing items. You got to get all the side quests. You got to do all the. Okay, well, all right. Maybe I just play slow, Al.
I think no. I think it's the shiny hunting. I think it's the fact
all
that
right,
I need to have 6 shiny Pokemon for my team.
The worst part is that it doesn't count a lot of that because a lot of it is resetting, so it doesn't show in the time.
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. However, your Switch is saving that time. So So it does count somewhere, just not in the in-game time.
I wish that it didn't. I
I wish that it didn't.
don't want to look at it.
So yeah, I've been playing Snacko. I've very much enjoyed that game. Maybe we'll be talking about it later. Who knows? Spoilers.
Yeah. I have questions, and I will save them for the later.
And I have also... well, maybe I should talk about this now. I've been playing Snacko on my... Now, what is the name of this device? ROG Xbox Ally X. I think that's the official title for it. So that's the Xbox handheld made by ROG, which is Asus. So it's actually Asus ROG Xbox Ally X, I think is its full official title.
What are they doing over there?
Look,
I think
this is the problem with the PC gaming market, is they just don't know how to name things.
I just call it the Asus ROG.
But this is
The
the thing,
Xbox has been on one as far as naming stuff goes for a long time.
This is the thing. Like, calling it the Xbox Ally would have been fine, but no, they had to because it's ROG making it, who are owned by Asus. They had to like shove all that on the front as well. Oh goodness! And also, like, calling it the Xbox Ally X, there is a problem with calling it that because they had the Asus ROG Ally X before, which is basically the same name. It is murder to try and Google anything about this console. At least
you can play Snacko on it, though.
Well, yeah. I haven't talked about this a huge amount because it came out on the same day that Pokemon did. So I spent a month and a half playing nothing but Pokemon. So now I've spent about a week using it for Snacko, and what I will say is, great handheld. I love the ergonomics. Very nice and powerful. It plays everything I want it to play. The Xbox Windows interface is terrible, and I wish it would die.
Mm-hmm.
And I am seriously considering installing SteamOS on this device. I can't get rid of Windows because obviously one of the big advantages of this is that you can install Game Pass games, which you can't do on SteamOS. Mm-hmm. So I'll need to install it in dual-boot, which... When was the last time I dual-booted a machine? That is an era of my life I thought I was past, but apparently I'm not. I'm not just dual-booting a machine. I'm dual-booting a console now. What is happening with my life? But yeah, I think I would probably rather play games that I can play on SteamOS because it is just better. It's like you'll be sitting doing something on the Xbox interface, and then you click something and it goes, oh, here's a Windows window. And you're like, why am I seeing a Windows window? Why are you opening the Windows settings for this? This is a touchscreen handheld console. I want to never see Windows. Get that away from me. Give me the things and you never get that with SteamOS unless you are doing something like so niche. You then like go, I want to see the desktop mode, but you have to explicitly go to that. Right. Whereas this handheld will just pop up random windows from Windows. You're like, why am I seeing the Windows terminal right now? I should never be seing the Windows terminal. Why am I seeing this?
Yeah, that's kind of wild.
That is unusual.
Dreadful. So they need to work a lot on the software on this. But it is a great handheld. It is obviously way too expensive. Do not buy this machine. But I was feeling the limits of the power of the Steam Deck and a few things, and so I wanted to get something, and this felt like a good one with its integration with Game Pass. Mm-hmm. And so now I'm going to get rid of that integration with Game Pass and install SteamOS. Yeah.
I'm sure the price increase probably helped that decision too, though. Huh?
Oh man, this thing is too expensive. But I was saving up for it for months because I was like, I know I'm going to get something because I had the Steam Deck for, what was it, like 5 years? Is that how long the Steam Deck's been out?
Oh God, really?
Has it really been that long?
Oh no, 2022, 3 years.
Okay,
all right.
I thought it was pre-COVID, but no, it's post-COVID. Okay, sure, fine. I got it at release, basically. So nearly 4 years, because it was February of 2022. So nearly 4 years. I'm feeling the pain of it. I didn't have the OLED version, so I was like feeling some of the pain aspects of it. So I knew I was going to be upgrading to something. And when they were like, oh, we're not going to have a new Steam Deck coming out, in 2026, I was like, okay, let's try something else then. Right. I could I can foresee myself going to the Steam Deck 2 when it comes out, just because of how nice the software really is, and the idea of like manually installing it on my machine is just painful.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've still got my launch Steam Deck too. Granted, I've done a lot of like upgrading to like, you know, hardware upgrades to it and whatever that like you probably aren't doing normally, but
Mhm.
I love it. I am a big proponent. Like my primary console consoles at this point are like the Switch and the Steam Deck, and that's
Mhm,
kind
mhm.
of kind of it.
The Steam Deck completely changed how I game, because I would buy things on the Switch if they were on the Switch, and if they weren't on the Switch, I wouldn't play games. It's just like that's just
Yeah,
how I
yeah.
was.
Yeah.
Whereas now I have a handheld device that I can use to play basically any game, and basically
Mhm.
any game works on it. And considering how many indie games, and especially farming games, release on Steam, it's a complete game changer.
Yeah.
And I do think, having played now with a console that runs Xbox full screen, it's Valve's software experience is just better. It just is. It's mad how much better it is as well. It's not even just a little bit better. It is so much better.
Right.
And I think most people should just have a Steam Deck. I don't think most people should look at anything else, because it has the perfect balance, I think, of console versus PC. So the advantages of console is you generally know that if you buy a game, it's going to work on the thing that you buy it for, right? PC, you don't get that, right? Like, yeah, you're probably going to be fine, but like, who knows? Maybe there's something weird in one of your pieces of hardware that means it's not going to work. Whereas because it's like the baseline, the Steam Deck, you know that if it says on Steam it's going to work, it's going to work. And you know that people are testing against it. Every game tests against the Steam Deck now. It just is the default. And that is an incredible advantage. But if you want to customize it and you want to do weird stuff to it, you can. But none of that is in your face. None of the weirdness is in your face. You have to go find the weirdness, right?
Right.
The fact that I can go in and install emulators on my Steam Deck, and I can integrate those emulated games specifically onto the Steam interface, so I can have my Pokemon collection on the Steam Deck, is incredible. But you don't have to. You don't have to do any of that. And so being able to do the customizability of a PC combined with the reliability of a console makes the Steam Deck almost the perfect device.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
I 1000% agree. And that's why I'm like kind of intrigued to see the Steam PC. Maybe?
Oh,
What are we
yeah.
calling it? Whatever we're calling it.
Steam Machine is
Cube.
what it's called.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see how that pans out.
Those are going to be really interesting. And also, like, I'm really excited about the VR that they've got, because I have a Meta Quest, and I hate that I'm reliant on Meta for that. And the fact that I could get a Valve one, like, I've said to a couple of people, like, there is no company that is user focused. It does not exist. There is not a single company that cares about its users. But in the gaming world, if there is one company that is closest to that, I think it's clearly Valve at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And saying this as a Nintendo superfan, I think Valve are clearly the closest to a user-focused company, and I would trust them over any other gaming company to provide me with hardware that I know is going to do what it's meant to do, and not feel like they're going to suck every last pound out of me. Hello, Nintendo.
I agree. I think
I agree.
Generally, there's a lot of really positive things about how Valve does business that, like, it's still business, so
they're still an evil capitalist company, but
100%.
Yes.
But like, just the fact that they have such a wild split for developers too, and things like that. Like, there's they're doing better than the majority, which is
we can give credit where credit is due, but also still give criticism.
Yeah. So my point is, being able to replace my Meta Quest, run by one of the most evil companies in the world of all time, with a Valve run one that we know is going to work with everything, right? You know your games are going to work on it is an incredible idea. And the fact that you can also then plug in your dongle into your more powerful device and play more powerful games that can't quite run on that is an incredible idea. I absolutely love that. The question is how much it's going to be, and we
Right.
don't know. And that's going to be the difference between, oh, this is a cool thing for hobbyists and this is game changing.
Yeah,
Yes.
totally. I am very nervous about that, especially the like, kind of hemming and hawing they've done so far about like, it's gonna be priced more in the like PC range, sort of like.
Mhm.
I don't know, but
I don't know
we'll
either.
see.
It's probably important that they don't lose money on it, because Steam will not make as much money on games as Nintendo or Sony, etc. will make.
Mhm.
And we want them to be able to continue making a good thing because it is self-sufficient in making them money. But also, if it costs too much money, it's
Yeah.
nobody's going to buy it.
Right.
Yeah.
He says,
Exactly.
having bought an £800 handheld console. I am not a good example of the standard game buyer. Don't be like me,
But also no hate if you are.
but also don't be like me. So, all right, that's what we've been up to. Oh yeah, I've also been playing Pokemon, but we talked a lot about that both in this episode and in the other episode.
We did?
Oh, what? Okay, so explanation of this episode. We are going to talk about games that have come out this year. And we're going to talk a lot about them, and hopefully not too long, so that, I can go to bed. So we have 3 sections in this podcast. We have the update of the year, we have the early access game of the year, and we have the game of the year. Also this year, I put so I think last year I had a poll to the other hosts on the podcast, so we got some more input than just the people on the podcast. This year, I extended that poll to everybody in the Slack, so we have a little bit more feedback than last year, and that will be brought up at the appropriate times. Just to go through this, for the update of the year and the early access of the year, we will just officially nominate every one that came out because those lists are shorter, but I mean, the updates list is still quite long, but we'll get to that. Then the 3 of us, for those 2, will take into consideration the opinions from the poll and our own opinions and make a decision. For the game of the year, we will explicitly go through our individual lists of what our games of the year will be, like what our nominations will be. And then I will also add on stuff from the poll. And then from those nominations, because we're not just going to nominate every game because there's far too many, we will make a decision as to what the game of the year is. One of us will probably come out of this angry. And that's just life. And I'm sure someone in the Slack will be angry as well. But that is just life.
I'm
How it
flexible,
goes.
so I'm ready to not be angry.
Yeah.
Well, look, let's wait
I say
until
now.
we actually know what we're nominating, because the 3 of us don't know what each of us is nominating for Game of the Year.
True.
We don't tell each other that, and I have it explicitly hidden in our show notes so that we can't see until we actually talk about it. So it's going to be interesting, although I do have a very strong theory for what I think the 2 finalists will be, but we'll come to that.
Okay.
So first up, we have Update of the Year. And just as a reminder, we started this category last year because we wanted to give Stardew a win. So 2024, Stardew 1.6 won the Update of the Year. And of course, now we have to continue and actually give a second update reward. So here we go. The nominations for Update of the Year are Terra Nil Heatwave, Coral Island 1.2, Coral Island 1.2b, Sunhaven 2.0, Micah and the Witch's Mountain Into the Mount Gone. Gone? I think it's gone. Luma Island Pirates, Horticular Frozen Frontier, Song of the Prairie 1.2, Spirit Tea Phantom Friends, Disney Dreamlight Valley Tales of Agrabah, Disney Dreamlight Valley Wonderland Whimsy, Disney Dreamlight Valley The Storybook Vale, Disney Dreamlight Valley Wish Blossom Ranch, Palia Elderwood Expansion, Ever After Falls 2.0, Dave the Diver Ishiban's Holiday, Rusty's Retirement Cross Vampire Survivors, Hello Kitty Friends Furniture and Frozen Peaks, Hello Kitty Sunshine Celebration, Roots of Pacha 1.3, Snacko 1.1, Everdream Valley Family Time, Lens Island 1.1, and Spirity 2.0.
Woo!
You made it. That was a marathon.
Goodness me. Let's go through the opinions from the poll first, just so we have that, and then we can discuss if there's ones that we think should be. So Kevin has said Micah, the Micah update. Micah became a full/finished game with this update. It's a great reason to go back, and an even full-hearted recommend, and all for free. So that's what Kevin said. Kat from the Slack also said Micah. Didn't add any more comment. Nami said Disney Dreamlight Valley Wish Blossom Ranch. I liked talking about the Disney horses. Spencer said Disney Dreamlight Valley Storybook Vale with no comment. And Cody said Lens Island 1.1 with no comment. So, what do you think? Have you got any particular exciting updates that you thought was the update of the year?
I personally thought it was pretty sick to see Rusty's retirement in Vampire Survivors, especially considering I now like both games very much so. Also, from this entire list in regards to the updates, the only two games that I've played is Rusty's Retirement and Snacko, to be fair. So
And you played Snacko not before the 1.1 update.
Nope.
So.
That's a note that I made to myself. I was like, I don't even know how this update changed my experience, because as far as I know, this has been my experience.
I think it's the one. I think it added cooking.
Cooking.
Yes.
Culinary update.
Yes, it was the culinary update. Correct. Yes. Cool. I should have added that into the list. Oh well. Okay. So are you saying you don't have one currently, or are you saying the Rusty's Retirement cross Vampire Survivors is what you think should win?
I would say for my experience, considering it's very limited, I would say Rusty's. But I also recognize that Lens Island was a big one, so I can kind of give something to that. I don't know, because obviously I've never played Disney Dreamlight Valley. I don't know if I would say any of them could be update of the year. I only say that because I feel like that game is always getting updates. So it's like, what can we consider update of the year if that game is always being updated?
I think I would mostly agree with you there. I think that I think there is an argument. I'm not making this argument, but I think there is an argument for Wish Blossom Ranch adding the horses. Like, I do feel like that feels like a significant update. I agree generally that I don't think any other Disney Dreamlight Valley update ever is going to entice people to come and play the game if they haven't already been enticed to do it, any more than the base game would. And nor do I think that someone who's like fallen out of the game and they haven't played it for the last year is going to look at any of them and go, oh, it's time to go back in, except maybe Wish Blossom Ranch, because adding in the horses does feel like a significant thing. I don't think it's not my game. It's not my update of the year. I'm just saying, like, I think if any of them have an argument, I think that would be the one that has an argument. Personally.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll also give credit to Micah, but the only criticism I have too is that I understand it's an indie studio, indie game, everything, but the fact that it needed an update to feel like a full game is unusual to me. I don't know if it's bad. I don't know if it's good. It's just unusual to me, but I am glad that it like fixed the game, and it seems like it fixed the game significantly. So I'm very happy to hear that.
Neither of you have played Micah, right?
I could totally mesh with that.
No.
I played it when it came out because I had backed it on Kickstarter. But I have not played it since. So take that for what it's worth.
Yeah. No, that's fair. So I love Micah, right? Like it was one of my favorite games of last year. And the update I do think I think I would probably say this is my update of the year. I think that their decision to release some of the features of the game in updates did feel a little bit not great, but those updates were in the previous update that came out last year, not in this one, right? I think the first update, which I can't remember the name of, was the one that felt to me like it should have been the first release. The Into the Mount Gone added stuff that I know Kevin said it makes it feel like a full game. I think it felt like a full game after the first update. I think the second update felt like, ooh, some more stuff, rather than, okay, now it's a full game, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So that would be I think Micah should win this, because I think that update is great. The game was great before it. If this hadn't come, it wouldn't have felt unfinished personally. I suspect Kevin is merging those two updates together because they did come out like only a couple of months apart, and I think originally they were just meant to be one update, but they came out as two updates. But I think it was a good update. It added like dungeons into the game which didn't feel like they needed to be there in the first place, but were a fun extra challenge afterwards. And as Kevin says, it was free update as well. So like, there's only so much you can complain about a free update.
Sure.
Right. I am happy to give it a win. It's so hard for me to speak on it because I have not really any strong opinions about any of these.
Yeah.
A note that I did make though is that the Dave the Diver update, I heard there was a lot of hype about it.
If I'm not wrong, I feel like there was hype about it, but it ended up being disappointing. This one in particular, Ichiban's Holiday. Correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't play Ichiban's Holiday, and also it was a paid DLC.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah. I did write that down. Yeah.
I don't know. Micah, did you play it?
I did not. I didn't actually even know that it existed until I was looking over the like show notes for this.
You've played
And
Dave the Diver, though, right?
I have, yeah. And I wrote in my nominations for update, I wrote Snacko because that I think I'll get to that more later for why I voted Snacko for update of the year, but I also wrote Yakuza Dave the Diver crossover rules because I like the idea of that, but that's the extent of it. Ichiban as a character in the Yakuza franchise is one of my favorites. He's incredible. So I'm very interested to go back to Dave the Diver because of that, but I don't know if it's enough to like, for me to call it update of the year, especially having not played it, but also just like a collab being, like update of the year. I don't know if that is valid enough for me to call it update of the year.
I think I'd agree with that. I don't think I would strongly fight against the Ichiban's Holiday being update of the year for two reasons. One, it's a time limited paid DLC, which I really don't like just as a concept, right? That is really not great. Mm-hmm. And two, having a look at the reviews on Steam, they are very mixed on this, and most people are saying it's really short. Why is this paid compared to the other ones? Like, I think the Godzilla DLC, which was a free DLC but still time limited, which I still don't like it being time limited. It's not great, but at least it was free. That was pretty short as well, but it felt fun and it felt good. If I had paid, how much is the Ichiban's Holiday one? £6. If I had paid £6 for the Godzilla DLC, I would not have been happy. But having it free, I think, was really good. And because of the amount it was, it felt like a fun addition to the story. But from what I can see, this seems to be shorter than that and paid, which doesn't feel great.
Yeah, it makes me wonder what what went on behind the scenes to make it so different. And I would assume some sort of rights negotiation.
Oh yeah, it's for sure rights.
But
all of their DLCs, I think, are time limited.
Oh, I mean, as far as like price goes and stuff,
yeah. Why was this one? Why was this one paid? But why were the Dredge and Godzilla ones free? Yeah,
right. Like, did they have to pay more for the rights to Ichiban, and did they, which is funny to think about considering that Godzilla is like, but who knows? Maybe Godzilla is kind of like, what is it? Winnie the Pooh? That's like, anybody can make whatever out of it.
No, I think they were doing the Godzilla one for free because I think it was, they viewed it as advertising because it was around, it was just after Godzilla -1 came out.
I see.
So I think it was like, no, we want people to go and see our film, please.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess to circle back to Snacko, I'm curious to hear your thoughts, Micah, in regards to like why you would nominate this the update.
Can I?
Or yeah.
uh, I guess what I'll say is, you know what, but there will be plenty of discussion, so I'm just gonna spit it out now. But uh I think Snacko is great. I did not nominate it for Game of the Year. And this is my kind of compromise, is that giving it Update of the Year is sort of my like compromise for not nominating it for Game of the Year.
So
Okay.
I
Also, I didn't play a
don't
lot of these, so
I I would not want to give it update of the year just now in exchange for not giving it game of the year later, right? Like
totally.
I think those conversations need to be separate. I think, I mean, I guess we could say let's table the discussion for now,
What I
do the
will
rest of
say
the episode and come back depending on what happens out of game of the year.
What I will say is that because I didn't play a lot of these updates, I was kind of picking and choosing what
Mhm.
I have played and what I think I could, reasonably, I have played a lot of like I've played a lot of Hello Kitty, uh, Island Event, but like it's not. I didn't play a lot of the updates, so I don't really know.
Mhm.
Uh, haven't played any of the Palea update. Haven't touched Dreamlight Valley in a very long time. So as far as updates go, I am very, Snacko was kind of my compromise for myself, as like I love that game and I wish that I had, more to be able to like place it in Game of the Year, but I still love that game, and that's why I kind of put it there. I am not very I don't have very strong feelings about Update of the Year. So I am willing to flex a lot on this one. So I wouldn't take this as like I'm arguing for Snacko to
Yeah, yeah,
be
no, that's
Culinary
fair.
Update to be Game of the Year or Update of the Year. It's just in
So,
the context of what I have played or have not played. So
so
Yeah, I mean,
there's
I
one
get
more
it.
suggestion that I haven't said that I was in my list of these are the things I'm going to suggest for winning update of the year. My first
mhm.
one was Mika.
Okay.
I wasn't going to suggest 1.1 Snacko 1.1 purely because I might discuss it later on in the episode, but also because it is an update that focuses on cooking, which is never a thing that I enjoy in farming games.
Mm.
Hmm.
The
And see, I do, so
That's fair. That's
but
fair.
that's okay. That's
Uh,
okay.
but
We'll get
also, I
there.
do obviously want Snacko to win something. But the other thing I was going to suggest is nothing wins update of the year because I have not been, other than Mika, I've not been like super excited by any of the updates this year. Full
Interesting.
stop. Like nothing.
Yeah.
It feels like it's a weak year for updates for farming games.
For additional context, a lot of the notes that I took on every game was seems like I literally copied and pasted it. Seems like a good free update. Seems like a standard free update.
Yeah.
Not interested in the game, but seems like a good free update. Seems like a good paid update. I wrote a lot of that for a lot of these updates. I was just like, this seems pretty standard. This seems pretty good. That's
Hmm.
it.
I also hate the idea of giving it to nothing, but also like
I do
there is an
too.
argument for it.
But I also don't love the idea of like I'm with Aislinn on that. Like I don't love the idea of eh, I will uh I will hand it to Mika if it goes that route. But like because it is a great game. That team worked very hard on this. I love a lot of stuff that they've made, but I do feel a little bit weird about giving it to something that like the update is what made the game finished, kind of. But that's also coming from the context of like not having actually played said update. So I I'm going off of what other people are saying the update did for the game rather than my own experience of it. So
I'm not saying this is a direct comparison, so take this with a grain of salt. But the context of like giving Mika the update of the year, in my head right now, there's a slight comparison happening where it's like, oh, this update helped to finish this game, is like giving Pokemon Legends ZA Switch 2 version update of the year. because they made it better. Or sorry, not Legends EA, sorry.
Scarlet and
Scarlet
Violet.
and Violet updated the year because they finally fixed the graphics, relatively speaking. In
Yeah.
this for the Switch 2. So
And again, I don't
not a direct
know.
comparison, but
So
just
as-
something that I
as
just
Right.
thought about.
As the only person who has actually played the entire game before the update and then played the update afterwards, that's not a fair comparison at all.
Okay, that's fair.
I think it's and as I said, I think it's totally fair to make that argument about the first Micah update. I do think that is a fair argument. I think that should have been the 1.0, and it's the same sort of argument that I've made about Coral Island 1.1. That should be the 1.0. But I think that Into the Mount Gone, I keep saying it the wrong way. I think at one point they wrote it as Mont rather than Mount because I think they're Italian, so it was a translation issue.
I think they're Spanish.
Is it Spanish, not Italian?
I think they're from Spain. Yeah.
My bad. That's a big mistake to make.
You know. Would it be a fairer comparison to, because just contextually from what I'm hearing and what people have said, like, would it be a fairer comparison to say in the same vein as how Animal Crossing New Horizons got a lot of updates that added stuff to it that made it feel like everybody kind of argued that the game felt more finished once they had all the updates in it, but they should have included them in the final release anyways? Is that kind of...
I mean, what is should?
Well, I don't necessarily agree with this because I think that, like, I think it's an unfair way to look at it, especially in the context of the time, exactly what was happening with games at the time.
New Horizons would not have been what it was if it hadn't released when it did. And so saying like it should have had the next 2 years worth of updates included when it came out is such a bizarre argument because it doesn't mean anything.
I think
you're talking about something that doesn't exist and never would have existed.
I think the argument was that it was mechanics that felt like they were patched in after the fact that weren't finished in time for release is what the
Yeah, maybe. But like that's also like, I don't think it's fair to say like that is something that like, that is not an unusual thing nowadays, and I'm not saying that to mean that like games should come out broken and fix themselves, but like, do people think that Fortnite should have been released as it currently is? Like that sort of comparison, like a game releasing and then having updates, like it feels like such a 90s view on things.
Yeah. I think that there are some instances where like the corporate hands get in the way of whether or not something is released, like ready for release, on the developer side. And I can see where that is, and that I think tends to be more a complaint about like the corporation that is in control of that rather than the developers themselves. And I can understand that frustration. I say this fully as a like massive enjoyer of New Horizons, one of my favorite Switch era games. Like I loved it, and I still love it. I still play it fairly regularly, but I can understand where I think, again, like, we don't know all the behind the scenes, all the inner workings, everything that's going on. So we don't know what was planned for release and what wasn't. I think that like using it as a comparison for things that existed previously in Animal Crossing games that didn't make it in until it was an update later on is a little bit more like understandable as a like...
I get your point. Okay, I get your point. The comparison is more fair. I just disagree with the starting point of that. Animal Crossing New Horizons should have released with everything that it currently has in the game. Like I just disagree with that full stop. And so therefore, as a comparison, it's fair, but it doesn't argue against this update being the update of the year, because I don't think I would say it's like, I would say multiple of those. I would say the farming update, for example, of, I can't remember which one that one was, but the one that added farming into Animal Crossing, I could argue would be the update of that year. Like I think that is that was a good update. And I like,
Sure.
does it make the original game any less than it was? Like the fundamental problems that some people have with Animal Crossing New Horizons were never fixed.
Right.
Right.
And
Yeah,
and so
totally.
if it had better conversations with and felt like the villagers were more real people at the beginning, would anybody have complained about the other things that were added? Well, I mean, obviously some people would, because there's always going to be someone
I
to
mean,
complain.
yeah,
But like,
everybody's going to
it
complain
would
about something
feel
eventually, but
it would feel less fair to argue about those things because these are just new things coming into the game.
yeah.
We got 2 years worth of updates for that game, and then people complained when they didn't add more.
Oh, well,
You know?
totally.
Like,
Absolutely.
I think,
and as someone who is very laid back about a lot of this stuff, like I am very much like take it as it comes. I don't, whatever they decide they want to do, even at the, at the behest of like the corporation who's got their hands in it and is dictating how it goes. I'm still pretty laid back about a lot of this stuff, but I can see for Animal Crossing New Horizons some of the things, like as an example, the museum not having a top floor and it just goes to nowhere until they patch in
sure.
what was supposed to be there, things like
Yeah.
that, where there are like little things where you can see they probably ran out of time on some of this stuff.
Sure, but how much of that is running out of time and how much of that is hints towards them things?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
for some of that stuff I can agree with, but for things that feel much more egregious, like a top floor that goes nowhere, I think is a little less like,
I don't
and
know,
maybe it was, maybe it was, I don't
actually,
know, but
I thought that was one of the examples of like, oh, there's clear, like when they released the first update, you go back and you look at things differently and you're like, oh, there's clearly going to be something here in the museum. We were all talking
Sure.
about that. There's clearly going to be something in the museum.
yeah,
We didn't know what it would be, but it was clearly going to be something.
right. Yeah. And I think especially because the game didn't like adding that stuff didn't change the like end game for anybody. It didn't
Mhm.
change like the full experience of the game. I
Yeah.
think that's understandable too, and changes the argument about like it's quote unquote unfinished. I think, and again, I think that it's totally reasonable that there to expect that there are things just like with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, like probably a lot of stuff behind the scenes that included the Switch 2 development cycle and and how the pandemic impacted that and how the Pokemon merch machine needs to keep moving, but that probably hindered a lot of what happened behind the scenes. And so I think it's fair to say that like expect that probably there are things that they just ran out of time on, and I think there are certainly things that felt like that in Animal Crossing New Horizons, but to say that it's a like detriment to the game is unfair for sure. But I think if it's something that does wind up being, this is what completes the game, this is what makes the game complete, and it's 2 years or whatever after the release, then I think it there's a little bit more of like a question about like, for me at least, of like, okay, well, does that
Sure.
does that make it the like definitive experience then, or is the like pre-update the I don't know. But again, this is also coming from someone who has not played this specific Micah update. I'm just trying to get a little bit more understanding of how heavily the update impacts the how the game turned out after the fact. Sorry,
that was going to be
Aislinn,
my question. No, that was pretty much exactly my question. It was like, this update with Micah, how did it affect the end game at all?
No, it's not something you realistically could have done before Endgame.
Okay. Well,
Okay.
yeah, then
In that
Definitely
case,
that
posting
changes it.
stuff.
For
this
sure.
long-winded conversation, I think then that
Again,
I'm
the
happy
first
to give it to
update,
Micah.
the first update absolutely is and should have been the 1.0 release. Well, it was the 1.0 release. They've released it in early access for some reason and then released 2 updates within 3 months, and suddenly it wasn't in early access. I will never
Well,
understand
no.
that decision. They should have just released the first update as the 1.0. That's when you release it, and then Mount Gone as an update later on, I think should have been the decision. I don't know why they made the decision they made. But
Sure.
be that as it may, that update added a bunch of stuff that did change how you play the game as you go through, and I think should have been the first version.
I see.
Okay.
But the Mount Gone is basically post game dungeons. Which the other thing to say is that I think there is, as Kevin says in his comment, it's a great reason to go back, and I do think there is something to do with that, and it's a hard balance to make. But I do think that sometimes updates to games are a good reason to go back in.
Sure.
Would I have gone back to Stardew last year without 1.6 coming out? Probably not. Some people do, but I probably wouldn't have. But I went back and spent another 150 hours in that game because that update came out. It was the first time I perfected the game, the first time I did everything in the game. So like, it's a hard balance to make. I do think that Stardew probably has the right balance of any game of doing it. Disney Dreamlight Valley has completely the wrong direction, right? They've released too many updates with too little content. You're like, oh, here's another update. It's got 2 new characters. Cool. All right. What am I going to do with that? And I do think that the Dave the Diver updates, or the DLCs, whatever you want to call them, the problem with them is that the ones that I played because they were out at the same time as I was playing the game the first time. Am I going to go back next year to the jungle? I can't remember the jungle update. I can't remember what it's called. Am I going to go back and play that? Maybe it's been long enough now. But had I completed the game and then 3 months later the Godzilla one came out, would I go back just to play the Godzilla update? Probably not. It's difficult. And I do think that the Micah update felt like a really nice... I mean, okay, I'm going to contradict myself here because it was a small update. It just added a bunch of post-game dungeons and nothing else. But also, that game isn't a massive game in and of itself, right? Like, you can complete that game in about 10 hours, I think. And it just adds a couple more hours into an already great game. And it probably came at about the right sort of time that I hadn't completely forgotten about the game. And if it came out now, would I go back? I don't know. It's difficult to know.
Sure.
I think with that context in mind of like, this is not necessarily a strict criteria, but keeping kind of in the back of our heads with updates, or trying to decide on an update of the year, knowing, or keeping the context of, would I go back to this game and either replay the game or sink in however many more hours into the game? I think that's a general criteria that's good to kind of keep in mind with the update of the year. And from what it sounds like with Snacko, it's hard for me to say because I didn't play it before, but for what it sounds like at Snacko, I think while cooking can be really cool for people, I don't know if that's necessarily an update that would bring people back to the game.
For sure.
The DLC for Dave the Diver, I don't know if that's something that would bring people back to the game. Lens Island, I don't know.
Again, I played Lens
Horses,
Island
maybe.
after the 1.0 came out. So I'm not even sure what was in the 1.1 update because I played it. I didn't play it pre 1.1.
Right.
Oh, that was the community feedback update.
I mean, it's great that they are very involved with their community. That's really awesome.
Yeah, I know. It was like there was camera settings and chunk loading settings and a sorting button for storage items. They added a bunch of stuff that is good, but also if we're going to go back to the like argument of what should be in a 1.0, a lot of these things are like, you can now move items, whereas previously you had to delete and recreate them.
I see. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that sentiment. I feel that sentiment as well. Whatever that sound is, I get it.
1.1. And I agree with you. I don't think it should be Snacko 1.1 because, cooking is not what I want to go back to a game for. So
it might be for some people, but I feel like for me, I'm the same way.
I feel like
I think also, especially so soon after 1.0, that it's, I think it's fair to say that, like, maybe that it's not, it doesn't really, who knows, maybe like people are coming back to it because of the cooking, but like you probably, if you're playing Snacko, you probably maybe still playing it, or like it's still pretty fresh to you, so there's not really much of a need to come back. But I don't know. I am very prepared to default to what the consensus is for update of the year.
Well, and we
Just
did have
to
two
clarify.
people on the poll saying Mika, and nothing else got
I did
two
hear it quite a bit.
votes. So
Did Disney Dreamlight Valley not have to? I thought I
it
heard
had
of
for
that
two
too,
different
but
updates.
oh, got it.
And we are we are not doing ranked choice voting here. Sorry. Okay, I mean, it sounds like we're giving. It sounds like nobody's really got an argument against it being Mika anymore.
No,
Yeah. Nope.
I feel comfortable about that.
I had questions, you answered them, and I'm happy with it.
And after too, if it helps too, after like looking through all of these and everything, considering I haven't played a lot of these games, Mika was a game that shot up and like, oh, I would like to play
Yeah.
this sooner rather than later. This update also added to me wanting to check out the game more. So
I think Chibi Games might be the first people to win two of the years from our podcast because they, of course, won 2020 with Summer and Mara. So there we go, a first. All right, let's go slightly faster for this next section because we've only got 45 minutes left before Mike needs to leave. Early access of the year. So this was also added last year, and we gave it last year to Fields of Mystria. I've limited it to games that have released in early access this year, so we're not including games that were released in early access before and are still in early access. They can get another shot at a game when they release their 1.0. So the nominations list are Abyss New Dawn, Artisan Story, Chronomon, Dolok Town, Galactic Getaway, Grimshire, Honeymancer, Hotel Galactic, Out and About, Seeds of Calamity, Starbirds, Super Farming Boy, Tales of Seikyu, Voyages of Nera. And our opinions from the poll are Kevin says, despite clearly lacking a lot, including a reason to keep playing, Starbirds works technically well, has a delightful art style, and has lots of potential. And then everyone else said nothing, except Kat gave a reason why they were saying nothing. I'm basically abstaining from this because I only have anti-votes against Tales of Seikyu. It ran so poorly, my perfectly good PC could barely run it. And Hotel Galactic sounded like a nightmare launch. No early access really grabbed me this year.
I agree with those two anti votes. Obviously, haven't played either of those. The only early access game out of this list that I played, and I only played the demo, was Dolok Town. But I also heard about the poor. I read about the poor reception.
Oh, did it get a poor reception? I missed that.
Well, in the sense of the bugginess of Tales of Seikyu and Hotel
Oh, sorry, I thought you meant
Galactic.
Dolok Town.
Oh, no.
Dolok Town has overwhelmingly positive reviews. It has a 90% on SteamDB.
Yes. Grimshire does as well.
I really should play this game. I really should. Maybe I'll wait till 1.0.
I really enjoyed it. I will say. I only played the demo. Really enjoyed it.
I will say I disagree with Kevin. I don't want Starbirds to win it. Like, yes, it looks great and it has a lot of potential, but that's all it has. It has potential. It has a core gameplay loop that you spend 5 minutes playing and go, cool, why? And that's it. And it's cool art. It's delightful art style. While delightful is just the same art style as Kurzgesagt uses in their videos, which is why they've done it. Right, but like it's not like it's new and inventive. It's just what they have in their videos that they've then put in a game.
Yeah, I mean, I marked it down as a game that I'm not interested in, so take that as you will.
I would be happy with giving it to Dolok Town, based on Aislinn having played it and enjoyed it, and it having very good reviews, and I actively don't want to give it to anything else. Unless Micah can convince us of something else.
I mean, the only things that I really thought were like interesting and fun, like Super Farming Boy has a really cool art style, and like I like the concept of the switching up the farming genre to be a little bit more like active and combo based and stuff. But it's not something that I think is like super like life changing to me, I really love games that do things that like Out and About did as far as like foraging goes and real world identifiers and stuff like that. Also still stuff that has kind of been done before, but I think in the package that it's in is a little more interesting and enticing. Town looks cool. I have not played it, and I will say that this is my, you know, my one chance to f gripe about early access very briefly. If you are releasing an early access game and it's not done yet, maybe put out a demo because it's hard to justify buying into a game that is incomplete and you don't really know what you're getting out of it. And I don't know. I
That's
think
fair.
everything should have demos,
Yeah.
but I also think that early access should for sure have demos because
I
I
I
think
think
you're
that is a very fair point, and I do think there is possibly an argument that we shouldn't be giving an early access award. I mean, I did it last year because I really wanted to give Fields of Mystery an award.
Which
Let's be honest.
deservedly deserved it.
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely, and I'm so
Yes.
excited for its 1.0, which presumably is coming out next year. I don't think they've said anything, but goodness, um, I yeah, it's difficult. There's always
just
going to
think
be
that if
issues with
you're
early access games,
right.
and
And
the
I think oh sorry, go ahead.
no, you go for it. I was interrupting you already.
I was just gonna say that I think I think an easy way to justify, there is justification for early access for indie studios that it's generating income while they're still working on the game and so on. I think if you're gonna do that though, putting out a demo so that people can kind of get a feel for it, because there's been so many games over the years that like and maybe I'm just jaded at this point that I'm like, I wish that I had known a little bit more about what this game was going to feel like before I bought into the early access. And then by the time the game releases in 1.0, I don't really care about it as much. And I don't really, it's too late. I already own it, like, I think I think having a demo is great. And I would love to play Town, but I'm not ready yet to throw $15 at something that I don't know really how it's going to play or what it's,
Yeah.
hmm
going to wind up being. So, but the art style looks awesome. I love the pixel art that they did for it. It's very like unique looking pixel art, lots of like jagged edges and sharp like the sharp grass and sharp angles and stuff. I think it's very cool. But yeah, I don't know.
I like the
Beyond that.
post-apocalyptic world too. I think
hmm
how I'm looking at this, again, to be fair, I didn't play the early access. I've only played the demo, so I'm coming from that context. But like, I think out of all the games on this list, in regards to just purely like something that looks like it has some future promise, um, I think Town caught my interest the most. Um, Chronomon seemed very interesting because you can play it on a smartwatch, apparently. So that also is very intriguing, but
hmm
I don't know. I'd have to relook at it, but I also want to take into consideration when picking early access of the year is how did people receive it as well? Because like Tales of Seikyu looks very interesting to me. But if it's so buggy, then I don't think it should be winning early access of the year because it's like,
Sure.
why is it out then?
Yeah.
Like it should be a consistent, promising look into what the full game is going to be.
When I
Doesn't
was
have to
looking
be
through this,
perfect, but
yeah, no, I totally agree. When I was looking through this list, because a lot of these I hadn't really heard of too.
Shocking.
Um, I had looked at, I wrote down the ones that I thought looked cool and interesting to me, and Tales of Seikyu was definitely in there, but I guess I didn't realize that it was running as poorly as it was. I mean, it's got like pretty positive reviews on Steam, but I, that's also the like the some of the woes of early access is like the optimization is not there. You know, I don't know. It's in a lot of ways probably not ready for uh consumer eyes, but it
I
is
th-
what it is.
I think this is the thing is like an early access for a game to win early access. It doesn't need to be perfect because it's an early access. It will have missing things. I think I agree in that it needs to run well.
at least halfway decent.
I think
Yeah,
no, I think
totally.
run well on a half decent computer. I think that's a fair thing. It needs to be playable. um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also think that like people's reaction to it is an important part. The two games that have overwhelmingly positive are Grimshire and Dolok Town. There are a few others that have very positive, but there's only two that have overwhelmingly.
Yeah.
And I guess part of the problem is like we're comparing massively different games, right? Like that's always the issue with games of the year, and especially with early access, because we're talking about things that could be almost finished with things that are like barely started, right? Oh goodness.
I'm happy to
Which
give it to Dolok Town.
which out of these are you most excited to play?
Dolok Town.
I mean, I do like the concept of Chronomon for sure. Again, no demo, so I wasn't really ready to commit to it, but I like the idea of crossing boundaries for tech and stuff the same way that like Rusty's retirement did, and in creating a genre of like desktop functioning games. But again, I haven't played it, so I can't really, you know. I think Dolok Town looks interesting. Is it the most like interesting of these to me? Not necessarily, but also, you know, it's slim pickings for me. I hate to say
No, that's
two
fair.
times in a row, like I'm willing to default to uh others' opinions, but I you know, it's hard
I
not to when I haven't.
I think if I look at all of these games and I think I can only play one of them, I think it's going to Dolok Town.
Yeah.
There's quite a few games
And
of
I'm
these
okay with
I do
that.
want
It's
to play at some
definitely
point, but it does seem to be that. It looks like it runs well. It looks like people like it. And also, I just love the look of it. I like
yeah,
what it's doing.
totally.
I like its differences, but also how it's similar. I like there's something really fun about the kind of like 2D Spiritfarer style farm build that I really like. And I'm excited to play in another game. Not many games do it. It's funny that we're talking about Spiritfarer again. Listeners won't know that we've talked about it already, but we talk about it in the Greenhouse episode, and we're about to talk about it again. But I'm good with it being Dolok Town.
Yeah, I can comfortably accept that.
Woo!
Woo! Congratulations, Dolok Town, early access game of the year 2025.
Huge.
So we're going to come into Game of the Year. I wanted to have a quick discussion about how people feel without talking about specifics, how they feel the year compares to previous years. We have more games released this year than any other year in this genre. But does it feel like that's good or bad? And like, are there things that you're like, these are amazing games, or does it feel like are you farming gamed out, etc., etc.? Go, Aislinn first.
Yes, I'm farming gamed out. That's my one sentence. It's a great year if you love farming games. If you are farming gamed out, it is very overwhelming.
But are you farming gamed out because there are so many?
Yes.
So is it a great year if you're like farming games, or is it too much if you like farming games?
I think I think it's too much. For me, it's too much. I don't know. There are some strong contenders that catch my interest, which I do appreciate, but like it's the oversaturation is kind of like getting to me personally. I'm just like I am happy with like my 2 or 3 farming games, and then that's like it. Like I don't even want to like look at too many more.
This is the problem, right? There are games that generally ask so much of you. Like when I start a farming game, I'm generally, unless there's a game that I'm specifically picking up because it's short, which there were a few that I did in September and October that I picked up because I knew they were short, and I was like, let's get up my number of games that I've played this year. Unless you're specifically doing that, so many farming games you go in expecting to sink in, you know, tens of, if not hundreds of hours, you know, like RPGs, like we've been talking about in the Greenhouse episode. We were talking about what's it called? Yeah, the Yakuza games. Oh no, that wasn't the Greenhouse. This was in this.
That was this episode. We were talking about
I'm so
Oblivion
confused.
and
We were
stuff,
talking about Yakuza and we're talking about Persona. It's the same sort of thing. You expect to sink in a lot of time into those games, and so therefore, and part of this maybe because obviously you guys not as much as me, but still to some level want to kind of try a bit of everything because like you want to talk about these things. I physically can't play every game. There were, I think it's 65 games released this year in the farming game genre,
Holy cow.
and there are
Woo.
probably ones I've missed. It's impossible. It's just physically you. If you played one a week, you still wouldn't get through them all. And a week is
Yeah.
not a long time to play through one of these games.
I was trying to think about this question when you should presented it earlier and like prior to recording, and I guess the most succinct way that I can like put how I feel about it is that I feel like we are at a point where we have surpassed the like boom of farming
Mhm.
games, and we're at a point now where uh creators need to really like figure out what they want to do. Because I feel like there's a lot of repetition in the space creatively. As I was going through some of this stuff and looking at some of the games that were released this year or even just the early access, I'm like, okay, this looks like, so and so. I'm not that interested in it. Moving on to the next one. And like, okay,
Mhm.
this looks like the same thing. So I'm moving on to the next thing. And I think we're at a kind of like awkward growth stage in it where the last few years have been so successful for farming games and cottagecore games in general that like we've seen so much of everything that now the creativity really needs to like shine through in how you approach them rather than just making the same thing with a different skin,
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
I definitely agree. Sometimes that works for some people because maybe like if you told me there was a magical girl farming sim, I'd be
mhm.
like, sign me up. But that's also kind of already feels a mystery in a way, at least
I was
just
gonna
like
say I
Sailor
have a
Moon. I was
great
like,
game for you.
But this is the thing.
which is why I picked it up.
There's 10 of them already,
Yeah,
Like
right.
this is the problem is every hook that every farming game has is also being done by someone else.
Mhm.
Right. And
Yeah.
so like they also then need to be good and they also need to be a reason to do it. I think I've been thinking about this quite a bit over the last few weeks because like I don't know, is it fair to say I've been feeling burnt out a little bit with farming games?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
And
totally.
like seriously considered stopping the podcast after this episode. But I'm not going to. Don't worry, listeners. I'm going to continue into next year. But I'm changing how I'm thinking about things and changing how I'm going to keep going forwards because I can't just keep going in the same way I am. I will
Sure.
die. Right? There's
Yeah,
too many.
100%.
I'm trying to play too many games, and I looked back on my list, and I talk about this in the Greenhouse episode. There's almost no games I've played that aren't farming games.
Mhm.
There's three. That's it. There are well, except like I did play a bunch of old Pokemon games earlier in the year because I wanted to get the home dexes done for the stuff in Pokemon Home.
Mhm, mhm.
But other than that, I didn't play any other games that weren't farming games. I played I think 13 farming games this year. Averages out at just over one a month.
Mhm.
And I played 5 games that weren't farming games. And so yeah, I'm needing to rethink how I go forward. And I think the problem is that like I'm like, oh well, we need someone to decide what are the good games and tell people these are the ones you should play. And then I realized, wait, that's me. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that means going forward. It's interesting because like there are more games now. There are more games released this year than there have been farming games basically every year except last year combined. Right?
Right.
Like there are just it's insane how many games have released this year that it's just impossible to keep up and means that I think I've missed out on games that I think I should have played. And because it's just so hard to decide which ones to play.
Totally.
Right.
I completely agree.
On
Yeah,
that
I agree.
note, what is the game that you most wish you had played, managed to make or find the time to play this year that you haven't?
Do you want to
Well,
go, Micah?
I've got a fun one.
Go for it. Fun
Uh,
game? What a crazy idea.
well, I've got two technically. One that I think will be a fun thing for Al. I
Okay.
wish that I genuinely wish that I had more time to be able to play Coral Island this year because
Mm.
I have heard you rave about it for so long, and I finally bit the bullet, got the game and I just didn't have time to touch it.
Hmm.
And I wish that I would have, especially with like updates and stuff that happened. And I was hopeful to be able to like talk about it, but I just did not get an opportunity to play it. Maybe next year, maybe Game of the Year 2026 will be
It's
when we
always
finally
maybe
get to
next
talk
year.
about Coral Island. But again, just too much stuff
Do
came
you-
out this year, too many
Do you need
things
me?
that,
Do you need me to schedule an episode where we talk about it, even though I've talked about it twice already? Just
that
so you
does
actually
force
play
me
it?
to play games, but
That's true.
and then the more serious answer, I guess, is Bugaboo Pocket, which I again didn't really know that this existed until I was looking through show notes and looking through some of this stuff. I After I looked into it and looked at the store page and looked at the trailer and so on, I just bought it because it
Nice.
really speaks to me. The like bug collecting aspect in a little virtual pet sort of style presentation seems very cool to me. I think bugs are very cute. I love the idea of this, so I wish that I had gotten a chance to play it so that I could talk about it in time for this episode, but unfortunately I didn't.
Well, good news for you. I have the game and I played the game and I recorded an episode about the game. So I could give some takes on that, but I will say you made a good purchase.
Cool. That's good to hear.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. And I guess since
What
I'm already
about you,
talking,
Aislinn?
you want me to
Yes,
since
please.
since I started talking about Bugaboo Pocket, I'll say because I wasn't I was like I figured this would be a like cottage core game or like farming game conversation. So I was like, if we're talking cottage core game or farming game, that I would say the game that I wish that I played was Spiritfarer.
Mhm.
Even though it wasn't released this year, it's I've literally had the game in my library for a hot minute,
Well,
and I just haven't worked my way to the game yet.
I cannot say that you're wrong because we gave Spiritfarer Game of the Year in a year it didn't come out. So
I also just said Coral Island, and that didn't come out this year, so
yeah,
that's
yeah.
you know.
Okay, so we're good.
I think
Spiritfarer is a
we're all
game
on the same page.
I think anybody who plays games should play Spiritfarer. It is an amazing game. Like it is one of my favorite games of all time, full stop. Like it is so good. If you like games,
Mhm.
you should play this game. Like it's just if you like any games, you should play this game.
You
Except
don't gotta convince me
maybe-
more. I've
maybe
had it. I've owned it.
Maybe don't play it like the week after a family member dies. Give it a couple months.
Fair.
That's
Very,
all.
very,
that is-
very fair.
That is all I would say. Like don't give it years, right? You gotta process these things, but like maybe give yourself a couple months after a family member dies. That's all I'm
Fair.
saying.
So I've heard. But I also listed, I was like, just in case we want a game that released this year. I don't know if this is necessarily considered, I feel like it's considered cottagecore, but a game that I still really, really, really want to pick up is Tiny Bookshop as well. I've heard a lot of good
I
things
think
about that game too.
Totally counts as
Okay,
as
great.
cottagecore.
It's not on my list, but my list is just loose, shall we say?
Definitely definitely recommend. I think it's a very cute game. I stumbled onto it from a friend's recommendation, and it's a very cute and comfy game.
Okay,
Highly
sweet.
recommend it.
I will definitely pick it up at some point.
All right, let's decide.
And it's got a
on-
demo.
Woo!
Sorry, I gotta
love that.
I gotta
No, I
call
love
out
it.
the demos when they show up.
We love a demo.
You're the demo person. Got it.
I'm not going to play that demo because I already know I'm not going to enjoy playing the game because it's a management
fair.
style game.
Fair.
That's fair.
Fair.
All right, let's decide on a game of the year. We can do this. We're nearly there. I'm going to change up how I'm doing this a little bit in that I'm not going to announce all of the previous winners because now that list is getting quite long. I'll just say
Fair.
that last year Rusty's retirement won. So if you forgot about that, that's what won last year. And I
Woo.
am not going to go through the list of all the games that released this year because this list has 50 games in it. The 65 was because of the 1.0 releases as well. But this or not early access, that's what I'm talking about. This list of games that came out in 1.0 is 50 games long. I'm not going to read out 50 games in a row to you. So I think we go straight into nominations. So just to remind people, the way this works is we will go round robin. We will each give one of our suggestions for what we are nominating for Game of the Year. Personally, I will be going from my least one that I would least like it to win up to the one that I most want to win, but you guys can do it however you want.
Okay.
And should we go in the order that we've got there? Micah, you can go first.
Yeah. I put runners up on here, and I don't really know why. There were a lot of games that I played that I liked.
That's fine. We'll do that first then. So if you've got games that you're not actually nominating, you're just saying these are ones that you want to say that were great, and in any other year might have got a nomination, then go for it just now.
I will say that I listed these as runners up because I liked them. I know that they are not going to win. That's the premise that I'll set, except for one of them. Tamagotchi Plaza. As a Tamagotchi fan, absolutely loved the game. It was a Switch it was a like Switch version of the DS corner shop games, which I loved and grew up with. It's great. Is it going to win? Absolutely not. Did people really not like
game.
it? Absolutely, they didn't like it. Case in point, Al's speaking right now.
Hate that game with an absolute passion.
I'm like slack-jawed right now.
There are only 2 games that I have ever said are bad on this podcast. Most games, it's not for me. There are only 2 games that I've said are bad, both released this year. Sugar Dew Island and Tamagotchi Plaza is a bad game.
It's okay, listeners. He just doesn't get it, and that's okay.
No, you are just blinded by nostalgia, is what it is. And you are never going to say anything negative about Tamagotchi, Micah.
Now, that's not necessarily true, but it's not necessarily wrong either. So,
woo! This is crazy. I thought that was like, because all I know is Al's opinion. I thought that was like you were like coming in with like sarcasm. I was like, oh, and then I realized I was like, no, you're serious.
I fully 100%ed it. I think it got a lot more hate than it deserved, given what it was supposed to be. And they still have like regularly little updates and things to like scenery as the seasons change and so on. I think it's great, and I love it, and I loved playing it. Did I think it was going to win? Absolutely not. That's why it's where it is. Tales of the Shire also got a lot of dislike from what I had seen. I loved it because I love Lord of the Rings. I love Tolkien. I love the Hobbit aesthetic. I thought it did some really, really cool things with like the social aspects of it and inviting people to dinner, and I thought it was really good. I understand that people don't agree. I don't think it was Game of the Year material for sure, but I thought it was good. And if you like Tolkien, then yeah, it's probably for you. But
I think its problem is people's expectations. They heard, oh, it's a Hobbit Stardew, and they went in expecting a Hobbit Stardew, and
sure,
like it's not what people expected, and that is hard to. It's hard to say that people are wrong about that, but it's also hard to manage those expectations. The game didn't do itself any favors by like just announcing themselves without anything else initially. I think if they had announced themselves with some game footage, that would have helped a bit, but you're still going to get people going in with their expectations. And it's also like, if you compare it to other Lord of the Rings stuff, it is obviously there are some similarities, but like it's kind of anti a lot of Tolkien stuff purely because it is the bits that you don't see. Right? Like you don't see the Shire living its life, because that's not interesting film or book, right? And although I'm sure if given enough life that Tolkien probably would have done that. But
right. 100% he would have.
If anybody would, he would. But it's a hard thing to live up to people's expectations.
Totally. And I think that they already, unfortunately, sort of blew it out of the gate because of the delays. I think that immediately set off red flags to people who were already maybe on the fence about it, to say like, oh, this is something's going wrong. So I you know, I don't think that that's necessarily always fair, because we don't know what goes, like we've said for other things, we don't really know what goes on behind the scenes for why things get delayed and why they don't. But I, having played it, having avoided that, kind of frustration, or that, like, negativity about it, and having played it myself, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really cozy game, and a lot of what I was expecting out of a Hobbit life sim, I guess.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
But again, don't think it's gonna win game of the year. I don't,
which is weird, because like a year ago I would have said it was in for a chance, but
yeah,
that's just how these things happen sometimes.
It's true. And then my last, the one of them I'll save, because I know this discussion is probably going to come up at some point, but Squeak Cross. I was shocked that it wasn't on your list, but I understand that there's a lot of stuff. As a die-hard Picross defender, Squeak Cross was a beautiful combination of Picross and Animal Crossing Happy Home Designer house decorating. And it was another thing that I 100%ed.
maybe
happily.
Maybe next year you can, on your own, do which is the best Picross game of the year. We did have. We also was
Rune Factory.
Rune Factory one came out this year,
it was on the list.
Yeah,
what
I was
year.
like, isn't there one?
There is. Squeak Cross, however, was not on the list, and in my opinion is maybe the better game. But that's,
Look, Rune Factory was both better and worse than the Story of Seasons one.
Absolutely. I am shocked how much content is in that game, though. I've put a lot of time into it, and as someone who like barrels through Picross games, I'm like not even 50% of the way through, and I've just there's a lot, they put a lot into it, and that is both a positive and a negative, I think. But those are my runners up.
Aislinn, do you have any runners up that you want to mention?
I will say, so it's so hard for me to talk on this because there are so many games that I have not played because time is limited for me. But
there are 50 games in this list, Aislinn. You don't have to keep saying there are lots of games you didn't play.
Know.
We know that. There are lots of games nobody played.
So it seems like I'm just going to give a big old list of like games that I think from general knowledge are like games that I think are contenders for like game of the year, just purely from reception. I'm sorry, I hate giving context, but I'm going to keep giving context. So my quick speed run list is Dinkum, Discounty, Fantasy Life, Hello Kitty, Lens Island, Slime Rancher 2, Story of Seasons, Tale of the Shire. Those are my speed
I played some
run.
of those.
Okay.
Hey,
I'm breaking Al down.
That's two Tales of the Shire mentions.
Fantastic.
We might be onto something here.
Micah, what's your first nomination?
My first nomination is gonna be Hello Kitty Island Adventure.
Amazing. Cool. This is probably where I say that's also my first nomination.
Oh, okay.
Hello Kitty Island Adventure is a fantastic game. I did not play it very much this year because I played it a lot when it came out on Apple Arcade, but most people will have played it this year. And so I'm counting it as a new release because like 90% of people who've played the game have probably played it on Switch, right? Let's not pretend that many people are on Apple Arcade. It's a fantastic game. It is better than it had any right to be. It is amazing because the coincidence of it being called the same thing as the South Park joke, and they have confirmed it was a coincidence. They did not know about the South Park joke when they named the game, just makes it even better.
Yes.
I never would have expected. It was 2023, I think, that it came out in Apple Arcade.
Yeah.
Before that game was announced, I never would have expected that I would ever actively enjoy a Hello Kitty game. And then this comes out and it's so deep and fun and everything. And like, also, and this sounds like such a silly thing, but like the movement in the game is actively enjoyable. I
Yeah.
will always enjoy jumping in a game.
They did a
game
great job with the movement.
Every, I think every one of my games on my list you can jump in. Just saying.
And it translated really well from what it was in Apple, because I also played it
Mhm.
when it launched on Apple Arcade. And with everything that launches on Apple Arcade, I go, I wish this was on Switch, or I wish this was on
Yep.
console or something, so I'm not playing on my phone. Uh, I waited. I did like play quite a bit of it, and then I kind of waited to see if it was going to come to the Switch, and I'm happy that I did, because then I played much more of it on the Switch and this year, and it's just so good.
Mhm.
Such a good experience. Very fun. It's very task driven, which I had heard some people had gripes about it in that way, that it just felt like fetch quest sort of, but I liked it because of that.
I, I, I
um
I agree. I love how it's like you know exactly what you would need to do to continue going. Like so many games are
mhm.
like, oh, we're not going to tell you what you need to do to get to the next friendship level or to get to the next story beat. And it's like, no, no. Here are the like 5 things you can do to progress your friendship. Here are the 2 things you need to do to get to the next story thing,
Yep.
and you can do. And also, this is what you need to do to get the next quest for this person is also like mind blowing. The fact that
Yeah.
they can go, you can't currently get a quest for this one because you need to raise your friendship level with this other person. Like you can say it's fetch quest all you want, but that's all games are. Games are just fetch quest. They're go here, do that. That's the entire game, right? And you can ignore the quests if
hmm
you want. You can just do things and talk to people and naturally get those things, or you can look at the list and do them if you want. And I want, please.
I also want.
I can't argue with any of this because if I had played Hello Kitty, I would probably agree. It's been on my wish list for like a really long time. It's just my only hesitation is I fear that when I download it, it will take all of my time, which is exactly what it sounds like. And initially $40 felt like a lot,
It
but
is a steep entry point for sure. I
but
will agree.
but it sounds like it's worth its value, and I would probably get good value out of it for the $40. And it goes on sale like somewhat regularly, like
Yeah.
maybe $5, $10 off or something like that. So I feel like it's worth it. It's got overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. It's constantly, I feel like, being updated. So
hmm
while I've never played it, from what y'all have said, my general interest in it over many, however long it's been out since Apple Arcade, and just yeah, the general consensus, I would be happy to also nominate it. And also it doesn't, there's been, for whatever reason, I'm not a huge Sanrio person, but like I have like generally noticed that there, for whatever reason, has been like a slow erasure of Tuxedo Sam. And I don't know
Yes.
why, because he is my boy and I love that little dude and he's in the game. So the fact that he's not erased from the game makes me happy.
Yes. Completely. As a Karopi stan, I feel the
Ooh,
same way.
good pick.
He
Trophy still exists though. Tuxedo Sam is tough to find. Very tough to
is. I
find.
have noticed that a lot of the like Western stuff, they tend to not include Karopi for whatever reason. It makes me very sad because he's
Ugh,
such a good character. He's
he's
such
such
a
a good
good little boy. But
agreed.
uh as if this helps you in any way or one way or another, I agree that the like entry point is pretty pricey for it. It was my wife's like main point of contention with it because I knew that she would love it. I played an Apple Arcade, so I was like, it's for sure your type of game. You will love it. She was like, yeah, but that price. And I eventually just bought it for her. I was like, you just gotta play it. I know that you're gonna like it. You have to play it. And it was the game that she has spent the most time playing this year. Like she's put hundreds of hours into it, which is tends to be like a rare thing for her. So it's always interesting to me when a game gets her to do that. So
Cool.
It is well worth the $40 price point. But yes,
I
if you can
believe
get
it.
it for sale, get it for sale for sure.
Um, I don't think, Aislinn, you understand what nominating works. You don't nominate something that has already been just because other people. We will discuss at the end what we think wins based on the nominations.
Uh,
So, Aislinn, what is your first nomination?
my one of my nominations is Snacko.
So this is
Just
where I
because
say that
I
Snacko is another one of my nominations. Am I going to be able to announce
what?
anything myself? Goodness me.
Didn't this happen last year?
I don't think it this much, but anyway, we'll get. Well, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. I get to go next, so I could get to announce my third game. Continue, Snacko.
So yeah, Snacko, while I haven't sunk a lot of time into it, it is one of the few games that I have played on this list. And between definitely the music, the art style, the colors, the characters so far are very silly, cute, quirky, all that sort of stuff. The character designs are all really cute. Um, and just the gameplay loop is so good. Like all I want to do as of recently is just pick up the game and just I love the quest. Love the quest. Love playing it with the wiki side by side. I have been really, really, really enjoying Snacko. So I that's my spiel.
I, I,
It's
I,
hard for me to say too much more because I haven't done the
no, that's fine.
full time sink in, but like my
Yes,
desire to
we.
sink time into it is very strong.
We're also at this point where we're a week away from recording a detailed episode on the game.
Yeah.
But people will have already heard that by the time this comes out. I agree. I think it's great. I mean, I've been excited about Snacko for literally years. I interviewed the developers, I think in 20, was it 2020 or it was maybe 21? It was certainly quite a few years ago, and I played the alpha of the game back then. And when it wasn't even publicly available at that point, they I somehow managed to get an interview with them, and they were like, "Hey, here's the alpha if you want to play it before the interview." And it was 2020, January of 2020, that I interviewed them. And even back then, I adored the game. I didn't put a lot of time into it then, but like I said in the interview that it's the first game that I have actively enjoyed decorating in because
Ooh.
it's so easy and flexible at the same time. The way you can just like pop things up and you can rotate them, and it's not just like not it's kind of grid based but not really grid based.
Yeah.
The one thing I find frustrating in the decorating is paths. Paths are very frustrating to make look nice. But other than that, all the other decorating is actively enjoyable. Whereas most games I'm like, throw a bed there. I'm done. So it's hard to get me to enjoy decorating. And the world is great. The graphics are really fun. The controls are good. I've been playing it, as I say, on my Ally, and it has like proper controller support, none of this fake controller support. You can jump again. Jumping is a big thing for me in these games. You will see as we continue on. I like that you can jump. It's fun. It's fun to jump. All right.
Yeah, you know what? That's a very good point too. It is actually very fun to jump and like the movement system, like you can go as slow as you want, but if you want to like jump over hills and houses and stuff, it's pretty accessible to do that. So you can like kind of just speed through the game if you want to. It's quite nice. It feels very good.
Yeah.
I got some words to say about Snacko,
Go for it.
if I'm allowed.
You are allowed.
I put Snacko as one of my runners up, and I waited to talk about it because I knew that it probably was going to come up. And the only reason I have it as a runner up, I want to say, like Al, I have been waiting for this game for a very, very long time. I played the alpha, I played the beta. Am mutuals with the developers. They're great people. I love them. They're very funny. They're very uh enjoyable people. I somehow, after backing it on Kickstarter and playing it all the like pre-releases for it and stuff, missed that it fully released, that the 1.0 released. And that is the only reason that I don't have it as because I did not get a chance to play like the 1.0 yet. Now that I know it's out, I'm very excited. to sink a lot of time into it. I think just the madness of Pokemon release and everything else that's been going on is just tripped me up in the news of its 1.0 release. But
Micah,
you know,
Micah, the
yeah,
1.0 came out in May.
there was a lot going on in May for me. Okay.
Yeah, but you can't use Pokemon as an excuse.
I can't use Legend ZA as an excuse.
Touche.
But yeah, I couldn't justifiably put it as like my game of the year just because I haven't played the 1.0 yet. So, but
okay. So
what I have played of it, I agree with everything that's been said. Great game.
All right, so on to my final one, because you two both picked ones that I've already picked. But my final nomination is Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. It wouldn't be the first time that a Story of Seasons game has won if it were to win. Doraemon won in 2019. A lot of the more recent Story of Seasons have felt lackluster. Is that fair to say, Micah?
Yeah.
But this one,
I think they just felt like faithful remakes. I think where this felt like a much more innovative remake.
Yeah, not even just the remakes though, but like Pioneers of Olive Town, it was fine.
Yeah, it definitely was just fine.
It was fine. Whereas this, I loved this game so much. It is one of my favorite. I hate to say the term Stardew-like because Stardew is a Harvest Moon-like, but you know what I mean. Like it's one of my favorite like fully rounded farming games where you are like life simulating rather than anything else. Like you are a person and you're inheriting this farm and it's in this village and your aim is to build up this farm and to find someone to marry and to progress this town and build it up and blah blah blah. It's one of my favorite ones. That is the story, the overall story. So I would say that I think Stardew still definitely wins in terms of like individual characters' stories. I think I don't think anything will ever surpass that. Maybe we'll see, but it is incredible. But I think that overall story for the game as a whole, I think this is my favorite of any of the farming games. Like the building up of the bazaar and like it's such a silly story. I don't want to talk too much about it because it's like you don't want to spoil it too much, but like there's a silliness to it while also being a seriousness to it that I think is a really nice balance of things. And I was really not excited about the idea of the bazaar because I was like, I don't like the idea of having to wait a week to sell stuff, but they did it so well. It feels so balanced. I feel like I get to focus through the week on doing what I want to do and then sell on Saturday. And you don't really have to think about the money very much because that's when you're buying your seeds as well, right? You've got one day to focus on the money and then you've got the other days to focus on the farming and the villagers and all of these other things. I think it's a really nice balance of things. I think it's the best Story of Seasons game, which is saying something because Trio of Towns was great. I love Trio of Towns, but I think this Trio of Towns I think has better characters. This is a better game overall.
That's interesting. It's good to take into consideration since I also have it on my list.
What?
And we also recorded an episode about it. It is second on my list, Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. For a lot of the same reasons that you said. It feels so polished. It feels well-rounded and like expanding on the experience of just being a farming game so much more. The gameplay loop is comfortable and doesn't feel incredibly intrusive. I feel like I have a pretty good grasp of things once I really get the cycle going. And it just, I don't know, it feels more polished.
Oh, and it has jumping.
It does have jumping. Not only does it have jumping, it has jumping barrels and it has gliding. So
the gliding is so good. The only complaint I have is the invisible walls that you have. I don't like the invisible walls, especially in the mountains. But other than that, jumping is great. The gliding is great. The barrels are great. I love jumping in games. Sue me. I think
That
Trio of
might be the
Towns was the
biggest
first.
takeaway this year.
I think Trio of Towns was the first farming game I played that had jumping, and I just jumped everywhere. And I every farming game should have jumping now. Please put jumping in your game, please and thank you.
I mean, I thought I figured this was going to happen. I'm not opposed to it. It sounds great. I've only heard great things about it. So that's my little spiel on it.
All right.
I think it's.
Who has how many do each of you have left? Because I have none.
I got
left.
one.
I got one.
Okay. Well, Micah, you go for yours first, then, and then Aislinn, you can do your others.
My game of the year #1 nomination is Fantasy Life I.
I was worried this was going to happen because I've not played the game, and I really wish, because I realized in the last section where we're talking about what game we most wish we should have played, I didn't actually say mine, and that was Fantasy Life I.
Oh.
I
really wish I
saw
played it.
that in the doc when I opened it before recording, and I thought to myself, "Oh no!"
Was that the moment you realized that wasn't going to win the?
Pretty much.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It's
my
such a
biggest.
good
It's my
game.
biggest failure this year. I think I have heard so much good about it, and I just didn't, and I can't
Yep.
give you a reason why. I just didn't.
Too many games. Too many games, Al. I was a very, very big fan of the original Fantasy Life. I am a very big fan of a lot of the things that Level 5 does, leaning into generative AI not included. And it seems like they have dialed that back since I was so excited for this game to come out because of what I liked about the original Fantasy Life. And it just didn't like exceed the expectation. It just absolutely blew it away. There's so much to do in this game. There's 3 different maps. There's Animal Crossing style, like island, not really an island, but like your village that you build up. You can rescue new characters that become villagers, and they can come along with you on your adventures. There's each class has really, really straightforward and easy to follow tasks in order to upgrade those classes. They've just like not just like streamlined it, but just made it a better experience overall. The story is fun and interesting. It's just a very addictive game, and it's a really enjoyable game. I'm very happy with how it turned out. I was very nervous about it. And I was blown away. I highly,
I'll
highly recommend it.
I'll add on that if I had to pick between Fantasy Life and Story of Seasons, it like looking through both of those because I was like, oh, if I wanted to play, I actually had this thought of like if I wanted to pick between the two, what would I pick? And it feels like I would pick um Fantasy Life as well.
We're going to do all that
It's
discussion in a minute.
so
We're doing the
Okay.
nominations just now.
Sorry.
But neither of you have played
Aislinn,
it, so I'm it's already doomed. But
Micah,
that's okay.
we'll get to that in a minute because there's more to come. Aislinn,
right
your final
ahead.
nomination, please.
My final nomination should not come as a surprise, but it's Wanderstop.
What?
I really, really, really enjoyed that game. This game is probably like I would say top like out of all the games that I played this year, I would say it's like top, I don't know where it would fall, but top 5 in game of the year for me, like overall. It left a very good and big impact on me in the sense of just the theme of just learning patience and taking my time as someone that struggles sometimes with that and just like taking a step back and like just slowing down. So while that theme is not a very uncommon theme in regards to storytelling, the way that this game told that story, I think was very touching to me. And I really enjoyed the gameplay loop a lot. The music was fun, the characters were silly. I personally love the characters. I know sometimes these type of characters in this game I feel like can be off-putting for some people, and some people may not particularly care. But I
Yes, some
personally
people,
found
yes.
a lot of the I personally found a lot of the characters to be quite charming. Um, And just I felt initially it took a little bit of work to get into, but once I got into it, I really enjoyed it. But I think the reason it took a little bit of work to kind of get into the game and figure out if I liked it or not was because of just going in with the mindset of like not having patience. And I felt like as the story progressed, I kind of slowed down with the main character. And
Hmm.
really, while like the main character and I are very different personality wise, I felt like I found ways to relate to her and found that to be very special as she is again someone very different from how I am. So the fact that I could relate to someone that was very different, I found to be very special too. So I really liked it.
Oh,
I find that really funny because I understand why people like this game, but I not a fan at all. And I find it funny that you're saying that you're not like the main character, but you found ways to understand her. And I'm like, I am that character. That is me, and that's why I couldn't play the game. Like I just I know what it's trying to do. I get what it's going with story. I see what it's taking her. Um, and it wants me to go along the journey, but I hate the characters so much that I cannot deal with them. I cannot keep playing the game because the characters are just actively annoying me.
I don't
Um,
know. Sounds like you gotta slow down now.
well, that's the thing. I know what it's trying to do. I know that it's trying to tell me that, but I just can't do it. And I actively didn't enjoy the tea making, which is like the core aspect of the
Oh, I
game.
loved it. It was great.
It's too complicated. It's too long-winded. It's too, dare I say, slow. I just, I get why people like it, but I can't. I just can't.
Hey, that's fair. That's totally fair. I'm not gonna argue against it. I'm not gonna argue against that. I understand.
I didn't play this game. I don't really know what it is, but this conversation has immediately made me want to play it.
I am fascinated that you've not even heard of it. It's the newest game from the developer of the Stanley Parable.
Oh, you know what? It's in my wish list.
It's
That's, you
we've
know,
probably talked about it on a previous episode, and you've been like, "Oh, it sounds good." Um, it's a
that's
gorgeous.
usually how things wind
It,
up on my
it
wish list. So,
it's a gorgeous looking game, and I love what it's trying to do. I just can't.
oh, it's Annapurna. Huh.
Yeah.
It looks
Or-
beautiful. And
yeah,
Aislinn, your story really sold me on it. So
Heck yeah, let's go.
I mean, I also have a pretty hard time like slowing down on things, and I've noticed more and more as time has gone on that, and as we've been like train I'm not trying to do social commentary, but like as we've been trained to
oh yeah, because we never do social commentary on this
accept
podcast.
as we've been trained to, be more interested and excited about quick immediate satisfaction. I've found myself struggling with that, and the internal struggle of wanting to slow down but not feeling like I'm able to. So I'm very interested in this based on your experience with it.
Yeah, I think from that perspective, you would like the game.
Cool. I'm also interested in it because Al seemed to hate it so much. So
I mean, clearly we have some differing opinions about
Look,
Tamagotchi
look,
Plaza,
look,
so
it is no Tamagotchi Plaza. It is no Sugar Dew Island. I understand why people like this game. It is not actively a bad game. It's just not for me. The other two
and
are
that's
bad
totally
games.
fair. Yeah. Well, okay.
So we're now going to go through. Let's go quickly through the opinions from the poll. So first up, we had 8 entrants on the poll, and we had an exact 8-way tie for Game of the Year on the poll. 8 people voted for different games. So we're going to go through them.
okay.
Up first, we have 3 silly answers. Cody voted Silk Song, which is not a Cottagecore game.
No, that's valid though, so
Stu-
we should
Stu-
consider it.
Stuart voted for Legends ZA, which all I'm going to say, Stuart, is obviously that's not going to win the Game of the Year on this episode, but like maybe listen to the Greenhouse episode coming out soon. And
Just because we argue about it
we do
the
argue
whole
about it a
time.
lot.
We all have differing opinions.
Yeah.
um, Come back to this after you've listened. You might find it funny. And Vincent voted for Expedition 33.
Ooh.
What was that? What was the full name for that? I can't remember.
Blair
Blair
Obscura.
Obscura.
There we go. Obviously, also not a cottagecore game. So we're moving on from the silly answers to the serious answers, and I'm sure at least one of them is currently typing in Slack to complain about me saying that their answer is silly, and actually their answer was serious. And yes, Stuart, I did ask you to submit, even though you were going to say Legends ZA to all 3 of the questions. There we go. Nami has said, I haven't actually played Herdling, but it's been on my wish list forever, and I've seen gameplay of it, and I know people that have beaten it. I cannot wait to play it. Fantasy Life I is a strong contender as well. So Nami actually voted for Herdling. Nami did not vote for Fantasy Life.
Dang it.
Next, we have Kevin, who says quite a long paragraph. He's done a Johnny, because Johnny did this really long paragraph last year for, what was it? Rusty's retirement. Here is Kevin's long paragraph. In a space where cozy has been underused to the point of almost holding no weight, Wonderstop does in fact manage to capture the essence of cozy
Yes!
No
through its
way.
gameplay and setting,
Yes!
while still aggressively confronting us with the existential horrors of anxiety, burnout, and search for purpose so many people in this day and age can relate to. It manages to blend the whimsy and almost absurdity of changing the colour of birds and brewing tea in a multi-story contraption which, with the grim images of injured warriors and inner parts of ourselves we fear. Wonderstop is a story for the times and for the ages. Cottagecore games these days often travel the well-treaded ground of seeking escape from a corporate, capitalistic world of overworking and overachieving, but few games have managed to follow through with that to the degree Wonderstop has. Clearly I'm biased because it's playing off personal issues I know all too well, but at the same time it's hard to say that any game we ever covered has ever managed to speak directly to me like this. And also, yes, The Fastest Bullet Alive, the second Dirk Warhard novel we get to read from, is deserving of a Pulitzer all on its own.
Yeah.
Kevin, I think the Pulitzer is a journalism award, isn't it? It's not a novel award. I know that's not...
That's what you pulled out of the... It's so funny.
Okay, so that's a vote for Wonderstop.
It is an award in journalism, arts, and letters. So, you know.
Oh, okay. So it's not just journalism. Fair enough.
Not just
My bad.
journalism,
My bad.
but...
So that's Kevin's vote for Wonderstop. Next we have
I second
Kat.
everything he said, just as a heads up.
That's fine. Next we have Kat, who said Research Story and Rune Factory were also great, but Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar was just so incredible. Absolutely the best game in the series, including Harvest Moon, honestly. I feel like I am the only person who really disliked Hello Kitty Island Adventure, even though I like Sanrio characters and obviously I like this style of game. It was just so boring and flat.
Oh.
So that's a positive vote for Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar and a negative vote for Hello Kitty Island Adventure. I don't know, do we do negative votes? And then Spencer has just said Hello Kitty. So there we go. And Chris has voted for Fantasy Life.
They canceled each other out.
Time.
Huge.
So we are in a bit of a pickle. I feel like this is the I think we've narrowed it down to 5 games for the finalists.
Cool.
We have Snacko, who has 2.5 votes. I feel like you kind of gave it half a vote in your runner-ups, Mike.
Yeah. I was very ready, if you recall.
Yeah.
In our discussions, Al, previously about Snacko, I was very ready for Snacko to be my game of the year.
Yep.
I unfortunately just blanked. I don't know what happened. So
we then have Hello Kitty, which has 2 votes from us plus 1 from the poll. So that's 3 votes for Hello Kitty. We have Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar, which again has 2 votes from us and 1 from the poll, so 3 in total. We then have Fantasy Life I, which has 1 vote from us and 1 from the poll, so 2. And Wonderstop, which also has 1 from us and 1 from the poll, so that's 2. So we have 5 games that have 2, 2.5, or 3 votes.
And I will say, for what it's worth, the ticker has moved. I have gone from adding Wonderstop to my wish list to now I just downloaded the demo, so it's, you know, for whatever that's worth. I just want.
I'll take these wins.
I'm going to start off by saying I think Snacko should win because it's the only one that all 3 of us mentioned, even if nobody in the poll voted for it. That's my opening gambit. Respond.
That is a very fair and valid opening gambit, and
I'm thinking. I'm thinking.
I am prepared for Fantasy Life I to not make it through. I'm very sad that that's the case, but I also am prepared for that eventuality. So.
Fantasy Life I is probably going to go the way of Coral Island, where if one other person had played it, it probably would win. And
sure,
there's probably going to be an angry person in Slack who says it should have won. But I think it's hard to justify winning in its current situation.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think so too. And that's okay with me.
I'm going to say no to Hello Kitty, even though I nominated it. I think if we have to strike a next one off, I think it's going to be Hello Kitty because it didn't actually come out this year.
Yeah, I think that's fair too.
Yeah.
I think most of our gameplay of it between the two of us who did play it did not take place during this year anyways, so I'm also okay with that.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to it.
It is a great game though, and you should play it. And I can't remember who it was that voted against it, but don't listen to that.
No, I'm still going to check it out. I am 100% still going to check it out.
Look, I suspect Kat would just say it's just not for them, right? Like
sure.
I don't think they're saying it's actively bad. They do explicitly say, I feel like I'm the only person who disliked it. So, that's sometimes games just don't grab us, and that's
well,
fine.
Kat, if it makes you feel any better, you are not the first person that I've heard say that they didn't like it. So in that regard also, I will.
Wow. Okay, yield. So we're down to 3. We've got Snacko, Story of Seasons, Grand Bazaar, and Wonderstop. I don't want to strike off Story of Seasons, but if I'm choosing between Story of Seasons and Snacko,
I'm picking Snacko, but
I'm probably picking Snacko. Story of Seasons have won before.
I don't think that should be a arguing point. I think it's okay for them to win again.
Sure,
but I think
I'm not saying they shouldn't win. I'm just it's a thing to consider.
Yeah.
As someone who has Story of Seasons on their list and did not play Snacko this year in its 1.0 finished state, it feels more right to me, spiritually maybe, to give it to Snacko over Story of Seasons. Especially because, and again, I don't know that this necessarily needs to be a point of argument, but it is also a remake of an existing game, which did an incredible job with it, but it is not necessarily completely, new in the ways that Snacko is, I guess.
So I understand what you're saying, but also I think that Grand Bazaar does the things that remakes should do. It took a game that people might have missed, a game that people didn't really play, a game that could use a lot of improvement, and it did all of that. Remakes far too often take, here's a really popular game, let's just do it again. And this did not do that at all. It took a game that people hadn't really played and gave them an opportunity to play it much better than it had been before.
Mm-hmm. I can understand that. It just feel, I don't know how else to describe it other than it feels right for.
No, that's fair. I'm fine. I'm not fine to strike it off. I do think it's my favorite game of the year. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. I think personally I prefer it to Snacko, but I think in terms of our collective one, probably Snacko wins over Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar. But we still have the Wonderstop of it all to discuss. I don't want to give it to Wonderstop. Kevin has a very persuasive argument, but also I still just don't like the game. Sorry.
I mean, that's fair. I understand that you just don't like the game.
You just hate
I
Bond
just
and Whimsy, and that's understandable.
The problem is I love the game. It's not necessarily doing anything revolutionary, but at the same time it's doing something revolutionary during this time. I think this game coming out during this specific period and like snapshot of time, I think is doing something very special to me.
But with also, again encouraging what it's saying is, hey, capitalism bad, by the way. Such an original idea. it's not really, right? Like
But
I
it's
get
very
No, it's not.
true.
It's
So
but the
sure,
thing is,
sure, sure. I get the point, and I get Kevin's point about it doing it best, but it's also like not that original, and also it's doing it in a I don't know. I don't have a fully formed sentence. So I stopped
can't
on a
say
comma.
one way or another because I did not play it and I mostly just learned about it here. But uh, you know, and in that way, I have a hard time pushing it through to game of the year because my my compromise is a game that I have played just in its alpha and beta stages. Um, and I am willing to, accept that as game of the year. I just can't do that with Wonderstop personally because I just haven't played it. I think it sounds incredible and I am very excited to play it now based on everything that I've heard, but it's it's it just doesn't make sense for me to say it's my game of the year if I haven't played it
yeah,
and
no,
I just
that's
learned about it.
Yeah,
I
So
get
and
it.
just a reminder, it's not individual games of the year. This is the podcast's game of the year.
Mhm.
So that's fair. But yeah, I think selfishly, I would say that I think it's hard for us to say that the podcast game of the year is a game that one of the three of us hated.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Yeah,
I'm not.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I can agree. I can agree with that. I mean, we
I think
all
that's
kind of
valid.
collectively like Snacko in one sense or another, in regardless of the stage that it was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know going for Wanderstop is like a selfish pick more so.
Well, I mean, I get the reasons why you like it. I think it's hard to justify it as being the podcast game of the year, and Kevin's going to kill me.
Yeah, probably. Probably. Kevin might also kill me for not pushing for it
Yeah.
harder.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So, Snacko is the Harvest Season's Game of the Year 2025. Congratulations to Snacko.
Hey.
I can't believe we got there, especially considering Micah was saying it's not going to win right at the beginning.
No, wait, when did I say that?
During the update, you said you wanted to give it update because you knew it wouldn't get Game of the Year.
No, 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 no. What I said was I wanted to give it update because I didn't nominate it as one of my options for game of the year.
Okay.
And
Yeah, that's fair.
and I said it I would wait because I figured it was going to get nominated and that would be a deeper discussion from that point.
right.
Okay, I think
I'm very happy with that though. I'm very
I'm
happy
happy
that
with it
decision.
we're all happy with the winner. It might not be anybody's top game, but collectively it is our averaged best game. It is a great game, and also it's always this is not the reason for doing it, but it's obviously great when an indie win. Congratulations to
100%.
Snacko Devs.
I think too it also encapsulates like the theme of the podcast well. Like it meshes well with this podcast. Awesome that it's indie. And even though we live in a society where farming
We do.
where farming games are oversaturated, Snacko feels like a farming game that stands out amongst the rest of them.
Totally. And also you play as cats and they're based on the developers' cats and that's really
That's
all you
very
need
true.
to know.
That's
And that's
very
why you should play it because it's so cute. So
All right, I think we're going to wrap things up there because we're at 2.5 hours, a total of 4.5 hours recording today. I guess we'll see you all next year when Pokopia wins.
What? Nah.
Micah, is there anything you would like to share with the audience before we go?
you can follow me on most socials, unfortunately, at Micah the Brave. I have been leaning more towards Instagram as the social. It used to be Twitter, but it's a nightmare on there. So, but I'm pretty much everywhere. I've also been streaming more again recently on Twitch. If you want to come by and hang out. And that's also Mike the Brave. That's pretty much it.
Aislinn, what about you?
Um, Pretty much also on just about all socials. A's trainer or AIS trainer is what I usually go for. Um, Everything. I mean, I technically have a Twitter. Don't bother with it. It's dead in the water.
We don't
Don't
like the
even
Nazi
bother.
site. That's all.
I primarily also use Instagram in regards to like being relatively social, although I'm currently on a little bit of a break. So just to kind
Good for
of
you.
recenter myself. But otherwise, I also stream on Twitch, also A's Trainer. And that's pretty much it. Oh, I guess a Moo and Coo. Let me do a Moo and Coo plug. Check
Oh,
out Moo
is
and Coo. Actually,
is it nearly time? Is it nearly time for the K-pop?
oh yeah, but as of this episode coming out, we will be
Exciting.
dropping very soon our K-pop top 10 K-pop songs of 2025. And
I'm
it's
so
gonna be a
excited. This
time.
is the second time you've done this episode where I have opinions.
Ooh. But I'm very excited for especially the conversations that Chris and I are going to have for this one.
Oh yeah.
Um,
There's going to be some fun conversations, I'm sure of it.
oh, it's
You
going to
can't.
be some fun and spicy conversations. A lot of
Ooh.
hot takes.
Oh, I look forward to the hot takes.
But yeah,
Perfect. You can find the podcast on Tumblr and on Blue Sky at THS Pod. Don't look for us on the Nazi site. We don't post there anymore. I think the account still exists, but I honestly don't know. You can send us feedback. Tell us why we're wrong about the game of the year and why you think something else should have won. You can do that from our website, harvestseason.club. You can also find there all the links to everything to do with the podcast, including our Patreon, patreon.com/thspod, where you can get access to the Slack and talk to us about this. You can tell us why I'm wrong there. You can tell me why I'm wrong in lots of different places. Only one of those places do you have to pay for. And that's the place where I can then very quickly respond to you and tell you why I don't care.
it's also the place where you can also hear more hot takes in the greenhouse episode.
Yes, you can get access to our bonus podcast episodes where we have was it an hour and a half long, I think, episode on our other games of the year. I don't know how we've spent so much time talking today, but there we are. Yes, so you can do that from our Patreon as well. Is that everything? Have I done everything? I think so. Thank you, Micah and Aislinn, again for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this was super, super fun.
Thank you, listeners, for listening. And until next year, listeners, have
a good harvest.
Have a good harvest.
The Harvest Season is created by Al McKinley, with support from our patrons, including our pro farmers, Kevin, Stuart, and Elisa. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, harvestseason.club, for show notes and links to things we discussed in this episode.
I, for once, was ready this time. I usually am not.
I don't know why I just wasn't ready. I think brain is fried is what's happening.
Well, it's been
4.5
4.5 hours.
Not even. Yes, this call has been going on for 4.5 hours.